Winnipeg's known for a lot of things: cold winters, friendly people, and that small-town feel even though it's a city. But it's also home to one of the most chilling serial killers in Canadian history, and somehow, almost nobody talks about him anymore. His name, William Patrick Fyfe, better known as the Killer Handyman. William Fyfe wasn't born in Winnipeg. He was actually born in Toronto in 1955, but he spent a chunk of his life bouncing around Canada, including time living in Winnipeg during his early adult years. On the outside, Fyfe seemed totally normal, quiet, hard-working, a handyman who did odd jobs and repairs. But underneath, he was hiding a dark, twisted side that would eventually explode into one of the worst killing sprees the country had ever seen. In the 1970s, Fyfe was already getting into trouble. Petty theft, break-ins, nothing that screamed future serial killer. But there were signs if anyone had been looking closely. By the time he was in his 20s, Fyfe had allegedly committed his first murder, a crime he wouldn't officially confess to until decades later. And it didn't stop there. Over the years, he raped, assaulted, and killed multiple women, mostly targeting them in their homes, places where they should have felt safe. Fyfe's signature was brutal. He would break into homes, often pretending to be a handyman or looking for work. Once inside, he attacked with extreme violence, beating, stabbing, or strangling his victims. Then he would calmly leave the scene like nothing had happened. In some cases, he would even steal souvenirs, little reminders of what he had done. It's classic serial killer behavior: violence, control, trophies. Although most of Fyfe's confirmed murders happened in Quebec, authorities believe he may have been active while living in Winnipeg too. There were a string of unsolved violent attacks and disappearances during the time he was there that some detectives unofficially linked to him. Nothing was ever proven, but the timeline fits. And considering what we now know about how far he traveled and how long he went undetected, it's not a stretch to think Winnipeg might have been part of his hunting ground. It wasn't until 2001 that Fyfe was finally arrested. And honestly, it was pure luck. Police caught him after DNA evidence linked him to the murder of Mary Glenn in Montreal. Once they had him, they started connecting the dots. One by one, cold cases from the 1980s and 1990s began falling into place, and Fyfe started confessing. He admitted to killing 5 women between 1999 and 2000 alone, but police believe his true body count could be up to 20 or more. Canada was stunned. Nobody could believe that this quiet handyman, this guy who fixed people's sinks and painted their fences, had been a serial killer for decades. And the scariest part? There was nothing unusual about him. He wasn't the creepy guy you'd cross the street to avoid. He was the neighbor you trusted. William Fyfe is currently serving a life sentence at a federal prison in Quebec. He's eligible for parole technically, but given the sheer brutality of his crimes, there's no chance he'll ever see freedom again. He'll die behind bars, and that's exactly where he belongs. Even though Fyfe's crimes were mostly in Quebec, his story matters in Winnipeg too. Because monsters like this don't respect city limits. They move, they hide in plain sight, and they're often the last person you'd expect. Fyfe's story is a chilling reminder that sometimes the real danger isn't the guy lurking in the alley, it's the one fixing your front door, and that's what makes it so terrifying.